What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and today I want to talk about the possibility of multiplayer in the next entry in the Zelda series. In a recent interview with Game Informer, Zelda developer A.G. Aonuma was asked if we'd be likely to see a multiplayer experience in the new Legend of Zelda for Wii U game like we are in the upcoming Hyrule Warriors title. To which he responded, "When I was talking back about making Zelda more than just a single-player experience, that's something you will see in the future, maybe next year." Since this quote got out, much of the internet has been buzzing about whether or not they'd like to see multiplayer added to the next Zelda game. Personally, my thoughts initially went to when some of my other favorite video game franchises first added multiplayer. When it's a separate mode that doesn't take away from the single-player experience, I typically have no issue. Rather, I find it fun to have a way to enjoy these games with others. I was initially a huge hater when multiplayer was announced for Mass Effect 3, claiming this new mode would take away and ultimately ruin the single-player experience, but I actually ended up putting a lot of hours into it. In this case, I felt the multiplayer added to the game. The endings will ruin it. But when multiplayer becomes the core of what was once a single-player franchise, I often find it takes away from what made the series great in the first place. Even if I end up enjoying the new game, I would still have preferred it to remain single-player. Resident Evil 5 was a prime example of this for me. Resident Evil has always been my favorite video game series, and unlike many other RE fanboys, I really loved Resident Evil 5. I played through it multiple times with various friends, collected everything, and maxed out all the guns. But the sense of isolation was gone, and with it, any feeling of fear. And that's kind of what worries me, and I think other people as well, as far as the idea of multiplayer in the Zelda series. You know, would it result in the watering down of things like the puzzles, the boss fights, exploration, and all these other things that have made the series a household name? And if you've been following the Zelda news since E3, you know this is a series gamers are extremely passionate about. I mean, debates have been raging about the choice of art style, the open world aspect, and even the possibility of playing as a female character. Essentially, this is a franchise that fans do not want messed with unless there's a good reason. With that said, normally I would just say this is a bad idea, but we're talking about Nintendo here. Sure, publishers like EA have no problem tacking multiplayer onto a game when it doesn't belong just because it could result in higher sales. But I don't see something like that happening with the Big N. When they have made major changes to their franchises, like turning Metroid into a shooter, you know it's not only because, hey, the kids like to shoot stuff, but rather they felt it would be a fresh, quality experience. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I trust Nintendo. They are leaders when it comes to gameplay innovation in this business, and I really think if they choose to make Zelda U a multiplayer game, it'll be for the right reasons. And the game will be built with multiplayer in mind rather than something that was tacked on at the last minute. With all this news coming out about Zelda U since E3, many people are up in arms that we're not getting the tech demo version of the game that we saw back in 2012. And initially I was one of those people, but now I feel like the game may end up being the better for it. Well, that just about wraps things up for this video. Make sure to let me know your thoughts on potential Zelda multiplayer in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe for future gaming content. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter @JohnnyZakari and check out some of my past videos as well. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.